away we go once more from the TCA studio in beautiful Bytown, Canada. Matt Robinson over here, joined for the first time in, it's been a little while. Our buddy Steve Lloyd from TSN 1200. What's happening, man?
What is going on? We are getting a reprieve today. Yeah, it's almost, it's not brutal out.
No, it feels spring-ish.
Yeah.
Ish. We'll see where it's going to go from here.
But buckle up for later tonight and tomorrow.
This is it. There's always one more kick in the ass in Ottawa of winter that just when you think you're done,
yes,
you're not quite done. How are things, man? It's been a little while since you've been in.
Oh, not too bad. Just doing the same old, right?
Somebody gave you a day off from Sports Talk Radio, and I made you come in here and do Sports Talk
That's
Radio.
Okay. So. I walked over. You and I live pretty close to each other, so I enjoyed the nice day.
Okay.
Right? And I'll do some family shopping puttering after.
Some puttering?
In the neighborhood. We need some groceries, Matt.
Okay.
Very exciting off day for me.
Domesticated lady.
Domesticated, yes. So this is my pit stop on my walk.
Well, I appreciate you making that pit stop.
On my old guy fat walk, right? Get out, get your steps
I also
in.
make that happen.
There you
nowadays.
go. Yeah.
We are on social media at Talkin Audio. Give us a follow there and subscribe to the pod wherever you're hearing us right now. Lloydie, as he's just mentioned, has some things to do, so he's going to pass on the pint this time. But I have sent him home with.
Oh, I'll be having this later.
Yeah, this is something of. Have you had it before?
I have not. I've had a whippersnapper before, but I have not had this before.
Okay, so this has become a bit of a thing around Ottawa most springs now. They do this blueberry pancake beer, coming in right around 5%. And you and I are recording a little earlier in the day than usual, so don't judge me, because I am going to
That is fine.
Right now.
No worries.
I find this to be something of a brunch beer, right? It's the blueberry pancake. Like, this is what I'm supposed to have.
Well, I have also later in the day, I have something to do with one of my kids where I'm going to be around other adults. So, if I start now, it could go
100%.
sideways.
Beer breath at family events is not a great thing. This one is awesome. I've always enjoyed it. It's got this kind of pastry mouthfeel to it. Like when they say they're going to give you this pancake thing, it's in there. And
okay.
I don't know how he does it. He's kind of an evil genius out there. So thanks to our buddy Ian out of Whippersnapper for bringing this by. If you can get there by the end of March, good listener, which isn't much time left, make sure you go in, you grab a little of the Carol Ann's Irish Blonde Ale. That is a fundraiser for the Canadian Cancer Society. It's named after Ian's mother, who was taken too soon. And they do this every year now. It's like I said, a fundraiser for the Canadian Cancer Society. Get in there. There's also a couple of pizzas. I don't have the names off the top of my head that are also fundraisers for the Canadian Cancer Society. And then even if you miss March, the blueberry pancakes thing is kind of an Easter tradition.
Very nice.
Good time to get in there and get your whippersnapper beers. Lloydie, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about, but the biggest one, and I know this would have happened to you multiple times throughout your broadcasting career, is you finish up on the air and all of a sudden something big happens. That happened to Rob and I on Sunday afternoon. We finished recording, wrap it up, and the Vegas Golden Knights have fired one of the best coaches in the league and replaced him with one of the most controversial coaches in the league, if nothing else. Everybody's got an opinion of some kind on John Tortorella. Just on how much did this catch you off guard? Because they were clearly skidding, but I didn't see this happening.
Totally caught me off guard. And then that, as McDavid aptly told us about a week and a half ago, that division has been a pillow fight.
Yes.
And Vegas has underachieved.
One of the worst records in the league since the Olympics. Yeah.
So I guess not surprising that they're not happy with their lot in life. I get that part of it, but very surprising that this is rare. We've seen coaches be let go very late in the season. Lou did it and went behind the bench when he fired Claude Julien, and then Lou did it in 2000 with exactly 8 games left in the season, and gave the reins to Larry Robinson, and they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So, but they were a very good team, and that was an absolute shock back then. I can remember that vividly. And obviously, the Vegas Golden Knights have a rich history in what have you done for me lately? This is a business. This is a cutthroat business, and the Vegas Golden Knights do not care how popular you are as a player. See Marc-Andre Fleury and others. Yeah. I don't care what you've done for us as a coach. See Gerard Gallant. Now see Bruce Cassidy. If they feel that time's up, time's up. And they make the move. So I was very shocked by it, like everybody, because it's so late in the season. But if I had to pick one organization in the entire league that would do something like this, that's the one I'd pick. And they did it.
I got to tell you, because I agree with you, this is the MO for Vegas. This is what they do. And yet, I'm far from convinced coaching was the problem here, right? Like, they lost a major piece on the back end when Pietrangelo had to step away. The Rasmus Andersson trade really hasn't panned out as well as they would have hoped. All their advanced analytics suggest they should be much better, and I don't have to tell Sens fans and people listening here in the nation's cap, sometimes you just can't get a save, and I don't know what you want.
No, their goaltending hasn't been any good,
right? To do about that, I guess you can have the new coach bounce that we sometimes see, but I'm far from convinced that Bruce Cassidy was the problem here. I know he wears on people, right? Like, sometimes
they want the Rick Bowness new coach rocket ship.
I guess
that's what they want.
Yeah.
What's happening?
It did work.
Columbus.
Yeah.
So,
and it's worked for him a couple times. And I know a lot, like, the narrative seems to be out there right now that John Tortorella is that guy who gets teams to perform early. The numbers don't really bear that out. Like, the last 5 or 6 teams he's gone to, he's sort of right around 500 or less.
What he does do, but it takes longer than 8 games. And you're right. The early returns are, the math isn't there. The history isn't there. Look at the numbers. But what John Tortorella does do, he brings in a different kind of accountability. And usually, if he's going to be there next year, guarantee Vegas is going to lead the league in block shots or be close to it, and things of that nature. So it's going to be like, you can't. What are you going to do with 8 games left?
Right.
You're going to be going in.
No,
you're going to
be.
You're going to be answering or talking to the assistant coach and say, "Listen, all right, what's the system here? Okay, I've got some ideas. Tweak.
Right.
But you can't just upload an entire new scheme, and this is where we're doing things today.
Right.
You can't do that mid-season. It's very tough. Like, Bowness didn't really do that in Columbus. He's got his own ideas.
Sure.
But I think what they're looking for, this is a shock to the system move. They're just trying to shock their own players. They shocked us.
Yeah.
People that cover the league and fans.
Yeah.
But the real point is, this is an absolute wake-up call to every player on that team. So you're trying to get a little shock value ROI immediately, but there's not going to be an overhaul of the system. You just can't do it.
Well, you mentioned that he can wear out his welcome a little bit, and like, I look like Elliot Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast on Monday morning mentioned that there had been a couple of clashes and that clearly there was some players there unhappy with him. I don't know, like, I don't watch enough late night. I'm getting old, Lloydie, and certainly I know you got to get up at the ungodly hour. So I don't know how many Vegas games you're watching.
Well, here's the thing on Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy, learned from Brian Kilray. Bruce Cassidy's got some old school in him.
Sure.
He always has. At every level he's coached at, and ever since he took over, he got the opportunity with Boston that kind of took him off because he had when he was really young, he was brought in with the Capitals. Bruce Cassidy, he demands a lot of his players, and there's some old school in Bruce Cassidy. So he is a bit of a shelf life guy. Air quotes, like you wouldn't really think of him. And this is what makes the move peculiar to me. Different front faces with the way they speak to the media and talk about the team than John Tortorella and Bruce Cassidy. But similar in many ways behind the scenes. Like, you don't mess around.
Yeah.
Like, they're the kind of guy that will call out the team players in front of their team and what have you, and nothing wrong with that. And but to me, making this kind of a change, I don't think you're bringing in a totally different style of coach, and maybe that's the point, I guess. Going back to my reinventing the wheel late in the year, but this, like, usually when there's a coaching change, it's like this style. We're going to
guy, soft guy,
exactly, different kind of a guy.
Yeah.
There are some similarities. These are both old school guys in Bruce Cassidy and John Tortorella.
I wonder a little about the Olympic thing. Jack Eichel and Noah Hannafin would have played. Like, John Tortorella, for people who don't remember, was an assistant coach for Team USA. There, like, I don't know if there's anything to that. For years there were jokes about Jack Eichel being the GM in Buffalo, right, or kind of running the show there. Those sort of faded when he got out of there and got a fresh start and kind of reestablished himself as a top player in the league. Like, I don't really know what this like. I look at that Vegas lineup and, like, I'm not certain playing Mitch Marner at center was a great idea, having watched him for 10 years. I don't hate it. Like, it was worth a look when Bruce Cassidy did that. Thomas Hertl's standing right there, and for whatever reason, they didn't love that. I don't know that I want any of these guys, though, spending all their time in the defensive zone blocking shots, and I don't know if this is different enough, or, like, I guess it is. It's just the shock to the system. is it just motivation? He'll keep a similar system and he's going to talk to them differently. And they had, like I said, Friedman was sort of saying that in between game 4 and 5 last year against Edmonton in the second round, Bruce Cassidy had a meeting with some of his top players and all of them hated that meeting and basically came out in the post-playoff, exit meetings and said, yeah, don't talk to me like that. Like that was kind of, and so I wonder if all year, if this has been
maybe
a thing. Yeah. It's interesting.
Maybe
man.
something has been simmering for quite some time. I'm sure it has been. You don't make these decisions because
this is a top 3 coach in the league.
I didn't like our last week. Let's fire the coach.
No, exactly.
That's not
Probably
the way.
not
That's not the way this works with ownership and management anywhere, and let alone Vegas. That way, even. In terms of what to expect, I think you kind of nailed it. It's going to be a different voice. Yep. There'll be a few different ways of doing things immediately, but for the most part, the players are the players. The die has been cast in many ways on this season. Mm-hmm. So different voice. Maybe you can relate to players on a personal level a little bit differently in a better way to help out. That has to be the only goal at this point, because you can't expect a full training camp of new systems.
Like if they just failed on Cassidy, that's your own. Like if you'd believe they just quit on this guy, we need something new right away, then I guess it makes a little bit of sense. Otherwise, this is a top 3, a top 5 coach in the league that you just said get the hell out of here.
He'll be out of work as long as he wants to be.
Yep.
Yep.
Toronto, call that guy.
Maybe
call that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would want to strap himself to that sinking ship, but money talks sometimes.
It all depends on what direction they're going to be going in, right? Are they going to tear it right down, and who's going to lead the tear down? There's so many question marks.
Who's calling Bruce Cassidy? The GM, who might also be about to be pushed out the door?
Might be Keith Belly. Who knows?
That's a whole other can of worms. I do want to look. We'll circle back to some hockey. I want to talk to you about the Sens, obviously, and but first, I know you're a baseball guy, Lloydie. That's one of the things I like talking to you about, and we have seen the Jays now run off a sweep against the Athletics to start. I think the underrated Athletics, if they can get any kind of pitching, they'll be fine. They have a really nice lineup. And yet, we saw Gausman, Cease, and Lauer set a record for all-time strikeouts.
Lauer's
in
a bum
series.
Who didn't get the double digits, so
let us down.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, that won the weekend. You get 3 starts like that, you could pretty good chance you're going to win some games.
It was so funny. Like we were laughing here on Sunday. Like both Cease and Gausman do that, set a record like 1901 or whatever it's been since your 2 first guys get that many strikes. Neither one of them get a win. Like it's just one of those sports where things are a little odd. But I'm curious, what did you make of opening weekend for the Jays? And really, what did you make of the debut of the ABS system?
I like the debut of the ABS system. We're going to have a lot of fun with this just as fans, of baseball, because there's the shoe's on the other foot now.
Yes.
It's not all about, hey, umpy, you suck. Now you can tap your helmet and be dead wrong. It's like, guess what? You suck.
Sure, yeah.
You're going to wear that now. Yeah. So it cuts both ways. So
the biggest story of the weekend, though, we're the ones going the other way, right? CB Buckner had a rough ride this weekend, and a couple of other guys. Doug Eddings is another one who.
People were wondering if Angel Hernandez was still there. What that would have went like for him.
Exactly. I like it too. It adds a little bit of the tennis vibe, right? Where they kind of have the camera, the Hawkeye. That's it. Where the crowd is kind of eagerly anticipating, hey, right?
And just like tennis, what I like, it's quick.
Yes.
It's very fast. We're not standing around watching officials by the penalty box when headsets on. Exactly. Is that an offside? How long is this going to take? It's like immediate. Like, is that a ball or a strike? Within seconds.
Randy Arozarena, I did see a great tweet that was like the new, I think it was Randy Arozarena out in Seattle, who was so certain that something that had been called a strike was actually a ball during a full count. Like he tapped his helmet while walking to first, and people are like, "That's the new bat flip," right? Like this is the. Now you're not supposed to be allowed to do it, but I do think we're going to see some of that. I think it's hard on these umpires. Like you're going to have to get used to it. This is where we're at now.
Oh no, it's in its infancy right now. So, but umpires will be getting. It's just whatever.
Yeah,
it's the way of the world. It doesn't mean you're a bad ump. You're not going to get every call right. No. We know that. And moving on.
Yeah. What about the Jays specifically? How much of that did you get a chance to check?
I watched good chunks of all 3 games. I watched most of the game on Friday night. because I actually worked the Sens game on Saturday.
Right,
so I had the laptop out, watching ball, getting ready for a show. The next day is basically what I did. And unfortunately, my biggest takeaway from that was, they win, dramatic fashion. Hoffman has a bunch of Ks, but he did what Hoffman does. Yeah. He gives up a dinger and blows a save.
Yeah.
So that was yay, the Jays won, but that's ominous.
There's a couple of little things that you'd like to see nipped in the bud.
Yeah.
Like, all those vibes from last year, we want most of those brought forward. We'd like the Brendan Little and the Hoffman vibes to be left in 2025.
Yes. Yeah, and I can see everybody, well, not everybody, but people are saying, don't worry, it'll be better. Little's velo was up. He's going to be great. It's like, I guess you know what? You got to prove it to me in big spots multiple times to kind of get over what happened.
Well, and the Hoffman one, like he gives up the home run to Langoliers. That's a great pitch, and he just got to it. Like sometimes it just happens, but if you want to dismiss these vibes and get those, exercise those ghosts, come on, man.
No,
night one, are we doing this?
It wasn't like he grooved a bad pitch.
Yeah.
And sometimes good hitters hit good pitches, and unfortunately for Hoffman, that happened.
It is wild as we sit here, the vibes between a year ago today and today in terms of what we were expecting out of the Blue Jays.
We're talking about Vladdy.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Hadn't even re-signed
Where will he be traded in July?
Right.
What's the conversation?
Bo is not re-signed. He's going to leave. This is enjoy this year because we're heading into a dark period. And a year later, expectations are high. What do you think of this team? I know you watched them for a long time. Do you expect them to it's hard to predict anybody to go back to the World Series, but do you expect them to contend like that again?
I think they should be a playoff team again, obviously, but man, that division is so tough, and you play so much against your divisional opponents. Your divisional record's going to matter. It always matters in what a dumb thing to say, but in this division, it really matters. It is the toughest division in baseball, so the regular season means that much more.
Yeah.
The pitching off to a great start. They should get healthier with that as well, which is the good news. I think how much will you miss Bichette's back? Mm-hmm. Can Okamoto, can he step up and provide some of that and some other pieces?
Start,
And it was like last year, whenever there's a fantastic season that everybody loves except for the bitter end, you go through rosters, I don't care what sport it is, you're like, oh, that guy had a career year. That guy had a career year. That guy had a career year. That guy, can George Springer, a year older, do what he did again, right? Can Ernie Clement break through even more? Can Addison Barger break? Can Nathan Lucas do it even more? It's just that, it goes on. So when you start to look at it that way, it's a lot to ask, but there's a lot of talent on this team.
Yeah.
To me, it's will they have enough offense?
Yeah.
They were smart because when they added Scherzer, I'm sure you're the same one. It's like, how many pitchers are you going to add?
Yes.
Right. But then it's like, okay,
by the time you get to opening
never
day,
have enough.
Thank God you have that.
You can never have enough. Good call by you.
100%.
Get more arms.
It is the way. I'm looking forward here on Monday night to getting a look at Cody Ponce, to see what that is how that's gonna play. That was the same sort of discussion we were having around Okamoto before he came. How will his bat play when he starts to see some increased velocity? They don't throw like that over in Japan. This will be the opposite, but I want to see how Ponce's stuff is going to play. There's enough. Rob called it on Sunday quite rightly. He's like, it's like baseball Hanukkah, right? For this particular Blue Jays rollout is okay, on opening night, I want to see what Okamoto looks like. And on day two, all right, let me see what Dylan Cease looks like, right? Yep. And now we're going to get to see what Cody Ponce looks like. It is sort of kind of this gradual rollout, the way they've gone about building this team. You've got a chance here early on with the Athletics that you swept, now the Rockies, then the White Sox, to really put yourself in a good situation. I saw a statistic that said after August 23rd, the only AL East games left for the Jays are 6 games against the Orioles, who may be good or may not this year. I expect them to be better than last. But that means after these few series to start, which are kind of light, until kind of mid to late August, you're going to see a ton of your own division, to your point, right? It's
I didn't realize
hard.
that.
Yeah.
What a dumb schedule by Major League Baseball. Why are you not having more divisional play in September?
Honest to God, that's it. You got 6 games against the Orioles. Everything else will be done. Your games with the Rays, the Yankees, the Red Sox are all behind you.
That's like the NHL schedule for Ottawa this season. Done with Boston before Christmas.
Yeah.
Played them 4 times.
Honestly,
divisional opponent before Christmas. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's a little odd the way they lay it out for sure. But that means you've got... I'd like to see them make hay here early against these guys because for a couple of months there, it's going to be heavy. It's going to be tough. So But I like the way they're put together. I'm with you that there are some guys now in this lineup that were surprises last year that I now need to repeat. But I do expect, like, whatever I might lose from Springer being a year older, I expect Vladdy now to be a little bit better than last year.
Now,
right? Can they swap spaces? Right?
A key for me is Okamoto. Am I saying that correctly?
Okamoto. I don't know.
Okamoto.
I think we've been calling him the Big Oak around here. Yeah.
If he can lock down defensively and be the everyday third baseman, because Jimenez, he's an upgraded shortstop than Bichette. He is an elite fielder. I think Ernie's good at second. Vladdy's excellent at first. Defensive pitching is still so key. Like we could talk about having more bats, but if you have great pitching and solid defense, you're going to be in games.
Yes,
you're gonna be a good team. So to me, the infield kind of relies on, is it going to work out at third? How much does Barger have to play there?
Well, when they signed him,
what have you? So,
he was signed as it said on the first baseman / third baseman.
Yeah,
and you're like, and he, like, third baseman second. Like, okay, this might be an adventure. Now, so far it's been fine, but it's been 3 games, right? Like we don't know, but I'm with you. Like, that is going to be when you have a pitching staff like this, you need that infield defense to be elite,
rock solid.
Yes.
And you know what? I love the defensive upgrade at short.
Yeah,
love it. It's so important. Now
100%.
You're not going to get the bat
of
Bichette. Well, he's not doing that with the Mets right now.
So far,
for one series, I liked his post game yesterday on that, though. He kind of, I know I didn't like my bats either. That's okay. So moving on. It's early, but it's not fun.
And
for
he
Bo
will
initially.
hit. It's a question of whether he can play third.
He'll
right?
hit. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the arm to play third, man.
I don't either. Anyways. It's a bit of an adventure. When we look around right now, what's happening in the nation's capital. They have another day off on Monday before playing on Tuesday against the Panthers. It's life and death at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that
has been for a while.
Sure. And that Tampa game, I don't like to give him credit, but Rob did kind of set me straight here a little. When I went, hey, look, you get no Kucherov, no Nick Paul, get in there, man. Like, you got to have that. And he goes, hey, no Jake Sanderson. No Thomas Chabot.
Like Nick Jensen, who was playing well after the Olympic break.
And no
3
Linus
of your top
Ullmark.
4 and your 2 best D are out.
Right. So Ottawa's got their own issues, and that's a totally reasonable point to have brought up. But it's not going to get any easier down the stretch here. Like this is sort of how it looks. It's interesting, actually. I saw somebody tweet out that Carolina is going to decide who gets in. They're playing everybody in this race. Like, they got games against Columbus and Ottawa and Pittsburgh and the Islanders, and however this is all going to shake loose. In kind of a general sense, Ottawa sits, as you and I have this conversation, 2 points out, but they do hold the tiebreaker against Philly,
everybody,
who's now jumped back into the race. But like you said, everybody. What's your confidence level that they're gonna? I don't even want to say like get this done, but like going to push this right to the last week.
It's 50-50 for me, because it's they've done a heck of a job managing getting through the injuries. Now, they've lost their last 2 games, but they got a point in the previous one at least, and that ended a 4-game winning streak, and they still got a point in that Pittsburgh game. They got nothing out of the Tampa game, and that one stings even more because you got out to the 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
And I actually worked both those games, so the home game against Pittsburgh as well, and you could really see it. And it's never one thing, and if this isn't excuses, like everybody's got to deal with their injuries and what have you. But it was uncharacteristic to see how poorly Ottawa played in the second period against Pittsburgh and the second period against Tampa. They got filled in. It was one of those survive, just try to get it out, and you have no forecheck because you just got to change.
Right.
And it's a long change. You got to get off the ice. It was just like that kept survive. That's what the second periods were. They do that to other teams very well, usually.
Sure, yeah.
And I think, honestly, part of it is you were trying to shelter 2 raw rookies on the blue line and play the heck out of a top 4 that is not a top 4, and they're playing. And so I think when you get into that long change situation, it's really tough. You can't hide. You can't hide. And I think they really miss the likes of a Jake Sanderson and a Thomas Chabot in those situations. Just one minor thing. Like, there's other things at play, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
But to me, that can't be helpful. So, oh, man, it is a day-to-day 50-50 kind of a thing because the schedule is tough.
Yeah.
Ottawa's a very good team, though, have a great system. When will Jake Sanderson be ready? Will he?
That might be the hinge point for the entire season.
I think it is.
Yeah.
He's going to come back and play. No question about that. But when will that happen? They just,
so I asked
pun intended, they need the head of the snake on that blue line. Like, he is not just their best defenseman, he's one of the best players in hockey on the blue line. And if he's in there, everybody else can slot just a little bit better.
Well, I mentioned just before we fired up the microphones here that Donovan had been sent down, and I kind of said I assume that means Jake Sanderson's on the verge of returning. You kind of raised an eyebrow at that.
I don't think that's a definite.
Okay.
I don't. Lassie Thompson's healthy. He played the last game. They're coming home after this one, so it's not like they're thinking we got to keep extra D around because of injury. They know who they're going to play tomorrow night against the Panthers. So Jake Sanderson is on the trip, though, which is good.
Yep.
He's close. But I don't know. There's something I don't think it's a slam dunk that he plays against the Panthers. The good news is he's close, but I wouldn't assume that quite yet.
So
now, at the time of this recording, maybe by the time you air this, we'll have some word on this.
There will be a morning skate and everything else that's going on here. So I'm curious, though, this has been the conversation around the Sens for a while. If they just get league average goaltending, they would be this, or they would be like, forget all the issues that are currently surrounding what did and didn't happen with Levi Merilainen and whether Reimer was the right choice, although he's been solid since he brought the Allmark leave of absence, the missed game on Saturday. Just if the Sens are getting league average goaltending, for you, how good a team is this? Like, if the goaltending stabilizes, where does this team fit in the Atlantic
Division? Are you asking me if they had league average from the start of the season?
Yes.
They win the division.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
They do. The numbers bear that out as well. The way this team plays, and I've said this multiple times, and I've covered this organization for a very long time. I'm trying to compare how well they play consistently. What Ottawa's game looks like.
Yeah.
You know it.
There's a system. There's an identity.
There's an identity to this team. They're going to forecheck the heck out of you. They're going to make it really tough for you to come through the neutral zone. They're going to activate their D on their breakouts, and unfortunately, they're not going to get enough saves, right. and until somewhat recently.
Until he does, yeah, or until they do. Yeah.
So if they had average-ish goaltending, the minimum they'd be competing for the division lead, and they'd have a really good chance of being first in the division. But ifs and buts, goalie's part of your team.
Sure.
And I not Monday morning quarterbacking this. We're doing our preseason stuff in September, getting down. What do you think about the Sens this year? We're having those kind of conversations. The one thing, I had no problem with the organization giving Levi Merilainen one-way money. No problem whatsoever. But I did question, I'm like, okay, who's next?
What's the safety net?
Who's next?
Yeah.
You're hanging your hat on a rookie that broke through and was a big part of saving your season the season before. He showed a lot of promise. Yep. It's not like you overpaid him. You gave him good money.
It wasn't crazy.
It's one-day money.
Yeah.
He's still waiver exempt at that point too. So whatever. You pay him what you pay him. It's not my money.
Sure.
And if it goes sideways, he goes to the minors and he's off the books. That's how little he makes still.
Yeah.
But what was Plan B? Was Plan B you think Matt Sogaard's going to stay healthy enough and progress enough that he can be a solid number 3? You're bringing in Hunter Shepard, who's been a career minor leaguer. That's your free agent signing as your safety valve.
Right.
I questioned it.
Yeah.
And it turns out, that's what they didn't err in giving the money to Merilainen. I think that's not fair to say, they couldn't. Come on. You do
he's
that.
Been in your system.
You do that all day long.
And he saved their year last year.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you do that, but they erred in not having a number 3. Getting a guy in here that if push comes to shove, he can play NHL games for you and give you some decent NHL goaltending. Your Alex Lyon type.
Sure.
And that's
or
why
your James Reimer type.
And that's why they got desperate and they went, all right, James, we saw you Spangler for
Spangler, great Spangler.
You're up, right? But they should have done that in the offseason. They should have.
Yeah.
They didn't insulate themselves enough. And on top of that, and it's, everything that's gone on with Linus Allmark, but even before that, Linus Allmark, throughout his entire career, he's not a workload goalie.
No.
This
is not a 65 game
pick reasons, whatever, but it has not happened. So, man, you were counting on a lot to go right with Allmark and Merilainen, because if it didn't go right, it's like, you are where you are, and that's what happened.
Do you think they're getting in? There's no way to know, but the run they're on, they are playing pretty well.
I've been consistent the last, when they started to play well before the Olympics, I was still no. Coming into the Olympics, I'm still no.
Okay.
And right now, I'm a maybe.
Yeah.
I've moved off a no to a maybe.
It does feel kind of 50-50 right now.
It does feel 50-50. And the reason why I was a no, not because you watch them play and like, that's a good team.
Yep.
But I just think that it could be a little too late because of how much they gave away for the chunk of the start of the season. So I've moved from a no to a maybe. How's that?
Well, like for me, Rob and I have debated this for the last couple of months. I kept saying Detroit's the weak antelope you're going to pick off.
I did.
And now you've picked them off. You're still not in. Columbus has showed up, and the Islanders are still hanging around, and the Penguins are better than anybody thought.
Philadelphia won 2 games in the week. Philly's in the mix.
Right.
Out of nowhere. Let's muddy the waters even more.
Right. So we picked off Detroit like we said we needed to, and suddenly there's still other options. Like, it may happen. I have no idea, but
8 teams for 5 spots right now.
Honest to God.
Right? And one of those is 8. 8 is Montreal, and Montreal's rolling again.
Yes.
So you're not catching Montreal. There was a little bit of, well, you know what, 3rd in the Atlantic. No.
Yeah.
No. Montreal started winning again.
It's going to be a wild finish. I want to ask you, because I'm sure you got to look at this. Last week, there was an article from the Hockey News where they started to unveil some of the salaries around the PWHL. And I don't know that we need to debate who's getting paid what. It feels a little different to me than the way other sports publicize their salary numbers, because these are low, right? This is a new league. It's great that this league exists and they're off and running. But I don't know how bad we need to see which players are making $40,000 instead of $90,000. Look, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. For a lot of people, $90,000 is a nice living, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd be fine. But it just feels like they negotiated when they started this league, the players and the league, that we will make the salaries available within the union and within the league so that you know what you're negotiating up against. But we don't really want to make them public yet. And yet they were made public. That is journalism. Somebody got a hold of it and report.
That's the thing. You're not going to be able to keep a lid on that. Like, there's just too many people at play, too many agents, too many players that will say something to somebody. It's going to come out, unfortunately.
So the players had access to it, and now it's public. Do you think this does, like, because everyone will point to, and quite reasonably, when this happened in the NHL, right? When you finally were able to stop the owners from abusing you and whatever.
Salary disclosure did wonders for the NHL
100%.
and the PA.
Was it too soon for you in the PWHL, or is this what needed to happen?
I know some people might feel a little embarrassed. They don't want that information out. I get it, but I think in the long run, it's a good thing. Get it out there now. Is anybody surprised that they're not making a ton of money? Nobody's.
Sure.
Like, it's a new league. You're still, ramping.
And they did announce
up
publicly the range, right, in which these salaries would land. We just didn't have names attached to them.
Yeah,
so.
like it's a league that's owned by one guy.
Yes.
Still, it's not like you have individual franchise values to talk about yet. Like, this is also brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take some time. So I don't think anybody should be surprised that there's nobody making an obscene amount of money, because it's just too new. The revenue isn't there. Like, you look at, for every Ottawa in the league, there's some other situations like, oof, that attendance needs to pick up.
Right.
Like there's, and they want to expand quickly. I'm very curious to see how that's going to go. Like, I hope it's not going to be too much too soon.
Are we doing that again, eh? Yeah. Like, that's the rumor, is that there might be 4 more teams as soon as this summer. You're like, man, you're just shit-kicking your original franchises. Those fan bases who bought jerseys with names and
how quickly, and I know that how big is the pool of elite, women players that can keep the level of play in the league up?
Yeah.
Because it's good hockey.
It is.
It is. But if you add 4 teams to this all of a sudden,
right,
like, it's like that's going to be tough.
It really is. Yeah. And for, like, you've had 3 years now of fans in these markets getting attached to their players, and you just keep plucking more away. And I get it. The argument is, short-term pain for long-term gain, but it's your fans that are feeling that pain. Like, you got people to turn out in record numbers across a lot of these markets, and then you're taking away their, some of their favorite players. That's tough. Like, Hillary Knight ending up in Seattle, and she didn't she was one of the players in this like, she didn't get a raise. She just wanted to help grow the league. But man, Boston loved her, right? Like, this is a legend.
Yeah.
This would be the same as Poulin leaving Montreal for Vancouver. Not that I'm suggesting that's coming. I'm just saying that's hard, man, for your new fans who showed up for you in year one. I don't know, man. There's just something about these numbers being as low as they are. I'm not surprised. Like you said, we saw the range. It just feels more like voyeuristic than it needs to be right now. Like back in the 60s and the 70s when Ted Lindsay's going to war for these guys and trying to get a union formed and player disclosure and all that. We didn't have Twitter, right? Like posting each player's individual number for the world to see. It just feels different for some reason.
Well, the old story goes, and I think when they made the made-for-TV movie Net Worth off the book years ago, and they portrayed this in the movie as well, but it's a true story. Jack Adams negotiating with Gordie Howe. You know, it's like, now Gordie, don't you go telling anybody what I'm making. I don't want everybody getting upset. It's like, okay, Mr. Adams. And then he started asking around. He wasn't even close to being the highest paid guy in his team, let alone in the league. So salary disclosure, good thing.
For it being public.
It's a good thing. Get it all out in the open.
I get that, for sure. Last thing I want to ask you about here, Lloyd, because I know you're a golf guy, and I'm not. But what we saw on Friday with Tiger Woods, another vehicle wreck. Luckily, everyone walks away. But I'm curious, we are now about a week away from the media and players starting to arrive in Augusta for the Masters, right? The crown jewel of the PGA. How much oxygen does Tiger Woods, despite being 50 and not playing and whatever else, is he now going to take up at this thing that these guys are going to have to talk about?
If he doesn't show up, and it's a chance he doesn't, then they will just Tiger wash it and won't even.
Okay,
that's my, like, it's Augusta National. It's the Masters. Years ago when they, didn't want to acknowledge what Martha Burke was fighting for. It's like, all right, you're threatening our sponsorship. Guess what? We'll just eat that, and there's no commercials. So we're going to do what we're going to do. Right? It's true. That's what they did.
That's right.
Like that. You want to talk about an institution, and I say this, and I love golf, and I love the Masters. It's my favorite golf tournament to watch every year, partly because of where we live. It's really a rite of spring. It's like, oh, man, that's beautiful. Look outside. It's getting better. Oh, baby.
A tradition like no other.
I just love it. I'll be dialed in, and I absolutely love it. But, the Augusta National, they do what they want to do, and they portray what they want to portray. They want you to see, they'll allow you to see what they want you to see, everything. Like Gary McCord got fired years ago from broadcasting because he was just using the wrong lexicon. Like it wasn't like he was swearing on TV or what have you, right? Like it's just so, I think of all the majors, for this to happen just before, if the entity that is running said major just wants to make it a non-story and go away, because they'll tell CBS, "Hey, we're not talking about this.
Right?
We're not. You can acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be. Let's have a panel here and let's go to the 18th
it had
tower
been up in the air whether he'd even play. Yeah. But then Donald Trump, of all people, who I'm sure has nothing more important in the world to be thinking about right now, was the one who said Tiger Woods isn't going to play. But there is a Legends dinner, right? And there was talk that he might show up for some of that. You're suggesting that Augusta would have the heft to say to the media, even on our property, don't be asking the players about this. Don't be
100%. This, that you want to talk about. We talk about state-run media, Augusta National. Once you step on those grounds, that's state-run media, top to bottom, everything about it.
What do you think?
If you're standing on one of the chairs that they give you, they'll kick you out. Well, I've heard stories about that. Like if you run. Yep. If you get into a light jog, I want to get to the next hole and see that tee shot. Hey, you get like a warning. You get catch again, you're gone.
Wow.
Parking lot. Go see John Daly down the road. Maybe I'll give you a T-shirt.
Sure. Where do you think Tiger's legacy is at right now? He seems to be forgiven a lot, and the saving grace for him right now is that nobody's been hurt in any of these wrecks.
Yeah.
He's been hurt, but nobody else.
His reputation has absolutely taken a hit. But in terms of, there's two different things. His legacy of the level of player that he became and what he did for the sport, you can never take away that. It was just incredible. The best of Tiger was at his absolute peak is probably the best we've ever seen and will see in our lifetime.
A top 5 athlete, like we're talking about Ali, we're talking about Michael Jordan, we're talking about...
He transcended his sport. Yeah. Not just in the United States and Canada, North America, around the world. Like Tiger Woods became like you could say Tiger Woods in most places in the world, kind of like the level that Michael Jordan got to.
Right.
It's just you might not know a heck of a lot about that person. I know that name.
Yeah.
Like like he just the peak of his popularity and what he did for the sport of golf and growing the game because of his fame and what he was doing, can't take that away. Now the other, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad right now to see this, and it appears that these last couple of times, there's talk of like painkillers being involved, and you think about the injuries that
he blew a
through.
000 on the breathalyzer, but refused to take the urine test.
Yes.
So there's something else happening.
And we know that there's a history of like how many surgeries has he had, and
his
and the
body's
pain
gotta be
and the
just-
pain he's in from the previous car accident, and it's sad. That's the word I use. It's sad. Unfortunately, and we just saw him earlier in the week as he made the return to air quotes competitive golf on the indoor series and actually competed in that. It's like, all right, good. Having Tiger healthy-ish and back, and that's good for the game. It is.
Sure.
But now this happens. It's like this happens.
Can you think of anyone else, and I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, who has been, because this was a bit of a controversy on Friday as well, right? Like Barstool wouldn't let their people talk about Tiger and his dad. You don't want to talk about state-run media. Right? Well, it was just if he's paying the bills. And the guy who runs Barstool's golf is buddies with Tiger. And look, Tiger still, in a lot of ways.
I thought they were always the objective cool guys.
Oh, yeah, no. They, Tiger still, in a lot of ways, pays the bills for a lot of golf media. And, he's a big story no matter what. I think of Mike Tyson as a guy, everything that guy did, both confirmed and charged for and alleged to have done, and yet comes back, you do The Hangover, he appears on How I Met Your Mother, which is like this family-friendly... He sort of
did
was
a one-man stand-up tour for a while.
And he was sort of forgiven as a, come on back, and Tiger hasn't quite yet been exiled for his indiscretion. Like, he's been judged a little bit by the public and whatever. Can you think of anyone else in sports who has been quite so irresponsible and yet welcomed back into...
Well,
it's hard, eh?
The thing is, we know that's about sports. It doesn't... It's a cold thing to say, but we know it's reality. Your level of talent determines how many second chances and third chances you get. Exactly. Yeah. Like here's an old name for Steve Howe with the Yankees. It was like 8 or 9 times busted for drugs.
Yeah.
I think you still pitch though.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. Get out there.
All right, you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, go get him. Right.
I think Barry Bonds was an asshole and obviously turned out to be, most people believed, on steroids. But he's not out endangering other people's lives and committing crimes, as far as we know, right?
Look what Hardy did, and the Cowboys brought him in.
Yeah.
Like it's just if you are seen as somebody that can help, like Ben Roethlisberger, some of the stuff that went on with him, and Pittsburgh made that work, as well. Like there's Kobe. The late Kobe Bryant, went through the public eye. It didn't go well for him. It's like, but if people are more willing to forgive talent.
We love a good redemption
It's
story.
true. That's an absolute fact.
Yeah.
People, I think a lot of people, you want to be able to see a redemption arc. You want to be able to see it's okay to forgive. But it's funny how it's easier to do that. Nobody's doing that for the fourth line guy.
No.
Right?
No.
Nobody's doing that for the last guy on your roster on your football team.
Well, Bobby Hull had many accusations against him, but he's still invited to the NHL 100, unveiling and these sorts of things. It's not till after he's dead that most people are willing to report on. If you're a legend, if you're a top guy, if you can still do something for the league, people kind of look the other way. And there's nobody, Bobby Hull, for as great as he was in hockey, was never Tiger Woods. And so if there's a chance to keep Tiger in the loop and on broadcasts and selling subscriptions or magazines or whatever you might be doing, there will be an element that cover for you and welcome you back. Man, this has happened 4 times now. Well, this guy needs some help.
But also, no matter how, well, not always, no matter, but whenever something happens and you can feel like you think that's despicable, you think that's inappropriate, various levels of I don't like that.
Right.
Right. our society is supposed to be one that it's okay to give people second chances. Everybody can make some bad choices and bad mistakes, and if they can truly show redemption, that's life. We should be open to that.
Agreed.
But to your point, like how many times can the same kind of thing keep happening?
Just hire a driver, man. You can afford it.
So, but to me, I just keep coming back to. Like I don't want to misspeak here because we don't know.
No,
but what he's been through and the fact that I'm not going to take a urine test, and we know that there some prescription medication was involved in some previous things. Like unfortunately, it would not be shocking at all that maybe there's a problem here. And that's really really sad.
Early afternoon,
really
too,
sad.
like 2 p.m. Like I guess if it's pain, like if. I don't know, like what he might be going through, but that's. I
don't want to say, okay, I don't know what he's going through, but I'll share a little bit here.
Yeah.
I've got a family member, not a direct family member, like somebody that I know,
sure,
and went through that.
Yeah. Went
through, had some injuries, and got addicted to pain meds.
Right.
And had to bottom out a little bit, and go through that, and got the help. And got the help the help that was needed. Like it's a real thing. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
It's not. It's and we see it happen to athletes over the years as well. Like especially how many football players we have this conversation about with what they put their bodies through, the car accident every week by playing. And a lot of guys, it's like how do I play this week? And unfortunately, how you play is you're taking something and. Eventually, the bill comes due. Your body just gets used to that, and then you got a problem.
Well, and this is it, right? Like I don't fault Tiger for what he's probably feeling right now, and the pain that he's. I fault him for you can afford to have somebody else. Like if this is what you're dealing in, this is what you have to do to get through day-to-day life. I understand that, but for $100,000 a year, you can have somebody drive your ass around and not be endangering the rest of Jupiter, Florida, or...
You think you'd be able to afford that?
I do think that.
If I had that level of wealth, I wouldn't want to drive anything.
Right. I'll be in the back seat here watching movies on...
Pick me up here in this nice vehicle. I'm taking that helicopter. I like that Learjet. I'm good.
Although, circling back to Kobe, I'm not getting in a helicopter. But too soon? All right. Too soon. We'll wrap this one up here. Lloydie, I appreciate you coming in, man. Let us know what you think of that blueberry pancake from Whippersnapper.
I'm going to share it with my wife likes the blueberries as well, so I'm going to share this with her.
And it's got this, like I said, it's got this kind of pastry mouth. Somehow they have recreated the pancake feel in this beer. I like this one a lot. It is available now through Easter at the Whippersnapper Brew. It might be a little longer than that. It depends how fast it sells, good listener. That'll be up to you, how fast you get there and get some of your own. For Steve Lloyd, my name is Matt Robinson. Thanks so much for listening. Lloydie, appreciate this, buddy.
No problem.
We'll wrap it up here, and we will catch you on the next episode of the Tall Can Audio Podcast.